Okay, let's try this again. Some dirty people and decided to restart it over. Sorry. So today we are talking about, I've got a lot of people that have asked me in my local crochet group how to join in yarn. So that's what we're going to talk about today. My friend Marie and Andrea and Haven, all of them have asked me how to join yarn. So this is my project. I'm making a blanket. Sorry if you're seeing this for the second time, but I just couldn't deal with, I had to figure out how to make it a locked periscope versus a public periscope, because I did not want all the crazy people that were commenting. So to start, here is my lead. This was my lead that I am ending the current skein, and then I have my new yarn right here from a skein that's right here next to me. You guys are sitting on a TV tray in my family room. So I want to add this. I'm going to add this down to my lap. I promise you it's down there. So I am doing just simple double crochets all the way along this blanket. So I will try to get you as close up as you possibly can. So this lead, I normally, yarn tension's a big thing that I talk about when I'm in with my crochet group, because if you're too loose or too tight, your yarn is going to be not sliding through your fingers properly, and your work will not come out the way that you want it to. So the way that I tension, depending on how sticky my hands are, how what the humidity is like in the air. Yes, down here in Virginia Beach, I worry about humidity. So normally I go around my pinky and through my first finger. It's hard when the lead is a little bit shorter because I'm ending, but I have to try to do it as best as I can. So to start joining the yarn, this is going to end up weaving it in, Marie and Andrea, if you're watching. Rather than knotting it, and if you don't knot it correctly, then your knot can come undone, and if you don't knot it and weave it in, if you leave too short of a tail, it can come undone, and that's the last thing that you want, is your work to come undone. So after wrapping it around, I'm going to yarn over, normal double crochet here, and I'm going to insert into the next stitch. So insert, yarn over, and bring it up, and I'm going to have 3 loops, 1, 2, 3 on my hook. I don't know if you can see, 1, 2, 3. They're kind of blend in with my blue plastic hook. Then I'm going to pick up my new lead and I'm going to wrap it around. I want to leave a tail down here because I'm going to work over that. So I know it's hard to see. I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull through the first, and then yarn over and pull through the second set of loops. So 2 loops, 2 loops, just like a normal double crochet. Then these tails, I'm going to kind of hold. This is the tricky part. It's kind of like learning magic ring and learning to hold new things. So you want to hold this down on top of where you're working. So you're going to now work over top of it. So I'm going to do a normal double crochet. I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to go in my next loop. But to go in my next loop, I'm going, as you can see, over top of the 2 strands that are the tail ends. So I'm going to kind of like tuck it. It's going to, they're right here. I'm tucking them in. So I'm going to yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. So now I've just secured those tail ends, and they will get worked over and kind of like woven in, like whenever you have a snag on a sweater and you want to weave it back in. That's kind of what we're doing. No knots, no crazy weaving or this. It's just, you're just working it over. So double crochet over the top until you get to the end of where your 2 loops are. Now again, my fingers here are on my left hand are acting like if you've ever worked with a sewing machine, they're keeping my yarn taut. So you'll see my fingers moving over here kind of in a rhythmic technique, so that way I get my yarn tension correct. So then you're going to come to where they look kind of like funny and frayed. You got to kind of, sometimes I try to twist them so they're not, this is bulky, chunky, weight 5 yarn that I'm working with. So they like to fray a little. So I kind of try to twist them a little if I can, just so they're not so fuzzy looking and sticking out. And then you just continue to work over the ends, and they end up working themselves neatly in. So you get to the end, and then it looks like the end of your tails, and it kind of looks like you've got a cotton ball hanging out. See? You can see that. You just, like I said, you kind of want to squish them down, and just work right over the top of them. And you might come to the end where this right here is my next hole that I'm working in, and this kind of doesn't go all the way over. So I kind of gently give it a little tug, squish it at the same time. I know those are some really fancy crochet words I'm using, squishing and pulling. And then you kind of want to try to work it where you're not pushing this through, but it stays like on top, like you've been working over, and then you end up where you've worked it in all along. And if you still have this tiny fuzzy, give it a gentle pull, and it kind of slides in without pulling out. But what you've done now, and then you just continue on, what you've done is you've worked that in. By joining the yarn, you've woven that in, and you don't have any ugly knot. So now when I come to work on top, as you can see, it just is a seamless transition. It just looks like part of the work. So I've already, I think I'm on my 7th or 8th skein, and you cannot really tell where I've worked in. I have no knots. I've just done that technique through this whole thing. It's really good when you're in the middle of a project like a Afghan, baby blanket, anything like that, and you run out of a skein of yarn and you need to work a new one in. There is a different technique for changing colors. When I work my hats, like, let me find it. When I work like My Little Pony hats, or when I work like my snowman hats, there's a different technique for changing these colors at the bottom. And I'll do a different periscope on that, because I know my friend Marie had questions about how to, thanks Marie, she had questions just in general about working the rounds in a hat. So later today, after I get some more done on this Afghan, I'll get a hat started up, and then I'll show the rounds that you work in and how to change colors when I'm doing a hat. Like I said, this is just one way to do it. There's several ways, but this is what has worked for me now for several years. I've been crocheting since I was 6. So I'm now in my early 30s. So I've been doing this for quite some time. I learned from my grandma and my mom. So this is just the way that works for me, and it seems to work for a lot of my family and my friends. So please find me on Facebook, Amanda Reynolds. If you have any questions, message me. And I will do as many of these periscopes about crochet techniques as I can. We can't always get together. So I will talk to you later. Bye!